Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Well, 7 months after the city unveiled its vision for a new sports and entertainment district, regular San Antonians are finally getting their chance to weigh in.
The city's community planning workshops for Project Marvel kicked off yesterday and continue this afternoon in 4 council districts. So our Garrett Berger is at one of them on the east side.
And Garrett, what have you heard so far?
Well, right now, today's meetings are just getting started. We don't actually have anybody over here at the District 2 meeting, but the format that it's going to be for most of the afternoon, it's a bit of an open house. And they have all these posters and the 3 big idea pages that groups at last night's forum came up with, so people can kind of circulate through and see what others in the community are thinking and also share their ideas with the firm that's handling this. And then later this afternoon, there will be some individual focus group discussions on issues like community use of public space and local businesses. Now, this is about the whole district, not just the NBA arena, though that new Spurs arena proposal is the big part of it, I think most people know. But yesterday, during the first day of the workshops, we heard a lot of apprehension and skepticism about Project Marvel, especially in the discussions that were early in the afternoon. There was a recurring theme of already unfulfilled expectations from a lack of development around the Spurs' current home, the Frost Bank Center. But whether the feedback's good or bad, members of both city staff and the outside firm leading the workshops say it's needed, and it will help the city council decide how to proceed. Now, the city's holding similar workshops across all 10 council districts over the next 2 weeks. You can go to any of them, though the city recommends you try to go to the one in your district. We have the full list with all the dates and locations on our website, as well as a link to an online survey that you can take. Now, but as these meetings start, we are still waiting, as most of the community is, for one firm piece of information. When it comes to the Spurs arena, how much is the team and the city chipping in? Now, the city, Spurs, and Bexar County had all agreed to tentatively try to get together the idea of a funding framework by the beginning of July. But we're about a week away, and so far, that answer, still a question mark. Live on the east side, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Garrett. Taking a look outside with live cam, 83 degrees. Look at those clouds. You know they're my Toy Story clouds.
I haven't thought about it like that, but that's accurate.
Yeah.
I like that. We were waiting on some of those clouds to build up into hopefully some more downpours today. If you didn't see any rain yesterday, there is a chance you'll still get some today. So let's first start with the authority radar. And you can see we've got one lone downpour out there starting to work its way into Karnes County. All this activity is moving north and west, slowly but surely. And this is playing out, again, a lot like yesterday. We'll see that sea breeze work its way towards San Antonio this afternoon. It's nothing more than just kind of a outflow boundary. And as it does, it should hopefully kick up a few more downpours just like this one, which is sitting just north of Runge this afternoon. We'll put it into motion for you. And you can see the movement here slowly but surely off to the north and west. Up around San Antonio, we're not seeing anything yet. We've seen a few very light returns, but nothing substantial just yet. Hopefully, again, by the afternoon, we'll start to see some of that. Outside right now, we've got 85 degrees at the airport. Feels like 90, though. 87 in New Braunfels. Feels like 93. In our forecast today, we'll call for a 30% chance of rain, roughly between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then after that, the rain chances fall off and temperatures dip back into the low 80s. We do have some changes in the pattern we've got to talk about. Some rain chances, yes, this weekend, but next week could be awful hot. And we'll look way ahead to the July 4th forecast, too, coming up here in just a bit.
Thank you, Justin. Well, summer is here, and so is the heat. So to help the community stay safe and healthy during this hot weather, the City of San Antonio is teaming up with partners to host workshops and share resources. So today's workshop will focus on preparing yourself for the heat, and that is happening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Normal Senior Center. And the events are open to the public and they are free to attend. They are also taking place at City Resilience Hubs, which are community and senior centers that offer daily programming and social services.
Now to the latest on the deadly flooding our community saw almost 2 weeks ago. The city has now hired engineering firm Clydenfelder Incorporated to investigate what went wrong. 13 people were killed in those floods, many of them in the area that you see, Bidle Creek, near Perrin Bidle and Loop 410. On June 9th, crews cleared out the drainage culverts near Vicar Drive, where 11 people were swept away and killed. A 12th person died upstream and a 13th person was swept away on Leon Creek near Callahan and Highway 90. City Manager Eric Walsh says we should see the investigation's preliminary findings within a month, and the San Antonio River Authority is conducting its own review.
The day I was sworn in is I went to the vigil where those families gathered for the first time together, and it's heartbreaking.
San Antonio's new mayor joined us for our KSAT Q&A segment. She talked about that recent flooding and how she was there for the vigil with those victims, and she spoke a little bit about what she wants to see happen next.
We as a community need to understand what happened. We need to make the investments to ensure that doesn't happen again. And I know the study is underway to not only understand the infrastructure needs that are needed, but also make sure that our processes were as tight as they could be.
You can watch our full conversation with Mayor Jones right now anywhere you stream KSAT.
Well, some local families are displaced, and a man is in the hospital after jumping off the second floor of an apartment complex that was on fire. So this started around 9:30 p.m. last night on Barrington Street. That is near Perrin-Beitel and Northeast Loop 410. The San Antonio Fire Department is reporting it only affected 2 units on the first and second floors. Now, KSAT crew at the scene noticed that at least 4 buildings in that complex were damaged. San Antonio Fire Department says it is working with apartment management as the affected units are now without power and without gas. Now, the person who jumped from the second floor has injuries from that fall, and 2 others were treated for smoke inhalation. SAFD Public Information Officer Joe Arrington said in an email to KSAT that there are early indications that the fire may have been related to unattended cooking.
A group of teens are more prepared and educated on mental health than some of us adults. It's all thanks to the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Greater San Antonio, also known as NAMI. The organization picks a local school and takes their Teen Mental Health Champions program there. The teens have about an hour each week for 8 weeks where they talk about different topics like healthy relationships, cyber safety, and more. The latest students to be certified teen mental health champions were at La Soya Middle School at Southside ISD. About 60 teens completed the course, and we had a chance to talk to one of them, Daniel Moore. He tells us that he's aware about mental health challenges because of situations in his own family. The program helped deepen his own self-care, like learning methods to deal with stress that come with school and sports.
There's certain methods to how we learned how to deal with stress and anxiety. Like, it could easily just go by taking a walk or listening to your favorite song, or start from square one to just listening to music, cleaning the house, doing your chores, so you're not so stressed up. Just forget about all of it and then take a walk, do something that calms you down.
Drive it in.
Sounds like he's learned a lot. NAMI of San Antonio has ongoing programs that help everyone, people, kids, families who need mental health support. In our next hour, we're going to talk a little bit more with Daniel to hear about how the program changed his view and those around him.
Well, Medina Valley ISD is giving all district employees a pay raise starting on July 1st. So next week, the school board's unanimous decision is a move to comply with the new state law. The legislation made it mandatory for districts to enhance teacher compensation statewide. So for Medina Valley teachers, that salary increase will range between $2,000 and more than $5,000, depending on experience. Now, paraprofessionals and clerical staffers will see $1 more per hour. School administrators will get an increase similar to teachers plus a 3% midpoint raise. District administrators get a 3% midpoint raise as well.
Well, it's supposed to be one of San Antonio's newest attractions, but now it's facing a big setback. A look at the damage left behind by alleged vandals.
And a new mural is up at a local restaurant. It honors a basketball player who may be the next name on the Spurs roster, where you can find it. Well, before it is even made official, the player who's likely to be the next member of the Spurs is already the subject of a mural.
This is Dylan Harper, and he'll likely be the Spurs' top pick during tonight's NBA draft. You can find this mural at Rudy's Seafood on the south side. Artist Nick Soup finished the painting last night.
And again, the Spurs have not officially drafted Harper. Restaurant owner Roland Ramirez has several murals on his walls. He feels it's a done deal for the Rutgers star.
If they don't get him, what's next for this beautiful mural?
We'll keep him up still, man. Hey, You know, keep them up still. You can't take a gorgeous picture like that one.
Both the restaurant owner and the mural artist say no matter who the Spurs pick, the buzz and excitement for the silver and black is building.
You'll see that once the season starts, they go crazy. The whole town just gets together, you know, and just backs up the Spurs.
They're more than a team, they're a family. They'll get a little goosebumps thinking about that.
Of course, Harper has been reported to be the Spurs' top target for weeks now.
And he's already part of an elite group. Tonight, he and the next generation of NBA stars are taking center stage in New York.
They're just hours away now from a life-changing moment, making their NBA dreams come true. Our Larry Ramirez is there for all of it. He's in New York, where he's already gotten to hear from Dylan Harper.
Yeah, I'm just like the rest of you guys. I mean, the NBA, you never truly know until it happens. So, I mean, there's been high hopes, you know, love that organization, love every other organization, so just gonna stay open.
Harper worked out twice for the Spurs, once in San Antonio and the other time at his former high school in New Jersey. What was that like for him?
I mean, they were great. I mean, great organization, great people all around from top to bottom. I guess they just want to check me out again. I mean, I love them people, love the coaching staff, love the manager, everything about them. So, I mean, they got a really good program. They got a really good thing going on over there.
And if the Spurs do indeed draft Harper tomorrow night, has he already envisioned how he fits in with the silver and black?
I mean, definitely. If it was all set in stone, I mean, they got two guards, but I mean, positionless basketball is really a thing in the league now, and you got a 7'4" big down there, Wemby, great player, going to be a Hall of Famer. So, you mean, they got a lot of depth on that team, and just everything around them is just very, very well.
And Harper added that, yeah, he's already thought about what it would be like playing alongside Victor Wembanyama, and just the ways that Wemby can affect the game, he says, is amazing. That's all from Midtown Manhattan.
Well, again, the 2025 NBA Draft is tonight. You can watch all the action right here on KSAT 12 starting at 7.
And of course, Larry and the sports team will have live coverage throughout the day from Brooklyn. Well, I would say Brooklyn is supposed to be cooler, but it's really hot there right now.
They walked into some record
Larry did
heat.
not escape the heat.
He did not. By the way, though, I'm really excited about Dylan Harper. If we do indeed draft him, I think he's going to be a perfect fit here for the Spurs. Feeling good about this season. All right. Palm County is in Mulder High. They're at 7,200, so they came up in a big way. Yesterday's rain probably allowed that to happen. We'll see where we end up tomorrow, but mold's still giving people fits. The aquifer is down 0.3 of a foot to 636.7. We need some more rain. We'll check the radar after this break.
Yeah, so we were talking, I know we have another friend in the newsroom who's visiting New York, and they're like, we do this to get away.
Right.
And then they
it's so hot.
got it worse almost, because we've been pretty lucky this week for, the San Antonio area.
Here's the thing, though.
Rain.
I love Larry, love the sports team, but I don't want to hear it because they get to go to California for a
Very
Cowboys
true.
camp, and it's always beautiful.
In Oxnard. Oh, it's only 65 degrees.
And they're inside there in Brooklyn. But yes, the whole Northeast has just been baking. The numbers have been pretty ridiculous. Boston yesterday, hottest temperature ever in June, 102.
102?
And that's not even counting the heat index.
Oh my
And those
gosh.
folks are just not used to that. So it is actually pretty dangerous up and down the East Coast. It's going to get a little better today, and certainly by tomorrow, then we'll start to feel the heat down here. Let's go outside for you. And we see some cumulus clouds building up around San Antonio. None that are growing vertically, though, that would give me pause and say we're going to get any showers or storms in the short term. But I think as the afternoon wears on, you'll start to see some of these clouds grow and hopefully grow into some downpours, a lot like we saw yesterday. And honestly, it's random because you got to wait on some outflow boundaries, the sea breeze. There's a lot of little things that can play into this, and it's impossible to know exactly when and where these downpours will develop, but we know there is a chance for it. 85 degrees at the airport right now. East-southeasterly winds at about 7. It feels like 90 right now because that humidity is so thick. Most places are looking at heat indices 90 plus. We probably will see this number end up in the upper 90s when it's all said and done this afternoon. Here's the authority radar. And Yes, we do have one thunderstorm down here. Look at that. We do have a lightning stroke being detected. Actually, a couple there being detected by our radar. So there is some lightning and thunder associated with this. But right now, kind of over a rural area. There's Highway 119, Highway 80 there. And so we're just north of Runge, just to the north and west of Nordheim. This probably does cross over Highway 119 here shortly as it moves off to the north and west. That's kind of the one lone cell we have. There are a few more as you get back down towards Victoria and Beeville. And again, some of this energy will slowly make its way up towards the city of San Antonio later this afternoon and this evening. So let's look at the futurecast here. And this is just one computer model. But by 2 o'clock, shows still some of that activity staying south and east. But by, say, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, there it goes. It scoots a little bit closer. In theory, there could be a couple of downpours for the evening commute. I don't expect it to be a big problem, but perhaps if you're one of the lucky ones and get stuck underneath one of these downpours, you could pick up a quick ½ inch. And I'm not bragging, but yesterday at my house, ½ an inch of rain. I was very excited about it. It was good. So maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones today. Rain chances at 30%. 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. High temperatures will be in the low 90s. 92 is the forecast high. And then we'll see temperatures kind of come down into the 80s by 8 p.m. And by the way, the rain chances go away at that point. We'll see with the loss of daytime heating, we'll see the rain chances start to decrease. Forecast heat index 97 is what we're thinking this afternoon. There will be some places that get 100 or above. In the upper level flow, reason it's been so hot up to the north and east, this heat high, it's been good for us too because we're getting a flow off the Gulf, and that's been helping to create some of that shower activity. You see all the activity around the high. But this high starts to break down a little bit, kind of shuffles around, and by next week, it starts to build right over top of us, which is why the heat will start to crank up. And we'll also be watching for some Saharan dust. Looks like we're going to get a plume coming in this weekend. This is Saturday, and going into Sunday, we could see some thicker concentration. You know what this means. Hazy skies, some more colorful sunrises and sunsets. And it looks like by early next week, we could see quite a bit of it in the sky. So it's something to keep in mind next week. Really, the forecast looks like it will quiet down. But in the short term, 30% chance today, 30% chance Saturday, 20% chance Sunday, and then warmer by Monday and Tuesday.
All right, we'll prepare for it to warm up a little for now. A nonprofit working on repairs after vandals damaged this building. Now they're offering an incentive to get people to come forward with answers. Well, of course, everyone loves saving money, whether it's at the store or your insurance. So that is a focus in the next episode of our streaming show, The Conversation, with Stefania Jimenez, and she looks into some home insurance rates.
Many of you are paying higher premiums, and the State Department of Insurance says they increased by double digits in 2023 and 2024. So why is this happening?
We've been paying more on our property taxes. They've steadily been increasing. Well, that also has an impact on your insurance.
During the episode, Stefania explains how to get a lower home insurance rate. You can watch the full episode on our website, KSAT.com, or on our free KSAT Plus app.
Well, the damage is so bad, it is hard to believe that this is a local nonprofit.
Arboretum SA is set to open as one of San Antonio's newest attractions, but now it's facing a major setback.
Our Avery Everett shows us that the vandalism has left this team picking up the pieces.
My heart just sunk when I saw it.
Wires exposed and walls torn to pieces. This is the aftermath of a break-in and a burglary at the Arboretum San Antonio.
They literally broke through the outside wall. We have to pay for that.
The Arboretum is a planned 200-acre tree sanctuary. Its home is the Old Republic Golf Course on Southeast Military Drive.
This was the clubhouse.
And y'all are still trying to figure out what exactly it's going to be for the Arboretum.
We are.
This building isn't operational, but it's one that's become a target. San Antonio police have logged 21 calls for service to the Arboretum since the start of the year. Most from the alarm getting tripped or suspicious people reported on property.
It's so destructive. It sets us back so far.
Boarded windows and shattered glass show the history of crime here. But the worst came this past weekend.
We found out because CPS called and said there's a problem with your power. We realized that they had cut the power from the actual transformer, which is incredibly dangerous.
The thieves over the weekend wanted to get into the breaker box so bad, they used what looks like a saw to cut through a metal lock. Damage shows the suspects were likely looking for copper wire. When they couldn't find it, they stole chairs and tables.
They just destroyed everything and ruined all our power grid.
This destruction is the reason the Arboretum is offering a reward to any information that leads to an arrest.
We're a nonprofit. Like, we don't have loads of money just to fix things.
As the Arboretum looks to rebuild, they're still looking for answers.
It's not going to end us. We're going to move forward through this.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Well, tariffs are taking a toll on toys. Economists say you'll see toy prices rise and why that trend may continue.
I'm ABC's Perry Russum in Washington. President Trump says his attack against Iran's nuclear facilities obliterated their program. Even as sources tell ABC News that appears not to be true. That story coming up.
Well, President Donald Trump is in the Netherlands where he is meeting with world leaders at the NATO summit.
Yeah, ABC's Perry Russum reports the visit comes just days after he made that initial decision to launch strikes on Iranian nuclear sites.
President Trump today defending the effectiveness of his attack against Iran's nuclear facilities.
We destroyed the nuclear. In other words, it's destroyed. I said, Iran will not have nuclear. Well, we blew it up. It's blown up. To kingdom come.
It comes as sources tell ABC News a preliminary Pentagon report indicates at least 2 of Iran's nuclear facilities in the attack were not destroyed, and Iran's nuclear program was only set back by a few months. The classified preliminary report from the Defense Intelligence Agency and U.S. Central Command indicates Iran's centrifuges remain intact. The bombing sealed off at least 2 of Iran's nuclear facilities' entrances, but they did not destroy their underground structures. One source familiar with the initial intelligence says much of the enriched uranium was not destroyed because it was moved before the U.S. struck. Trump disputing that.
I think we hit them so hard and so fast they didn't get to move.
The president releasing new information about Iran's attack on the U.S. military base in Qatar.
They were very nice. They gave us warning. They said, we're going to shoot him. Is 1 o'clock okay? They said, it's fine. And everybody was emptied off the base.
Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General defending Trump after the president said this.
We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing.
Mark Rutte referring to Trump as daddy.
Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while you have to use a certain word.
Iran's foreign ministry now says their nuclear facilities were badly damaged. It appears the ceasefire between Israel and Iran is holding. President Trump says he believes his attack ended the war. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Well, a federal judge has indefinitely blocked President Donald Trump's executive order to end collective bargaining rights for many federal workers. A coalition of unions representing nearly 1 million federal workers requested the preliminary injunction. The decision clashes with a ruling from a federal appeals court in May, which lifted a different judge's block on the order. So that case pertained to another union's members. At issue was an executive order President Donald Trump signed in March. So it attempts to abolish multiple agencies' union contracts in the name of national security. So the unions argued the order violated their First Amendment rights.
The Trump administration's tariffs are now taking a toll on toys. Prices for many dolls, stuffed animals, blocks, and games rose 2.2% between April and May. Analysts say that's an unprecedented increase, and it's largely the result of the U.S.'s new trade policies. According to the Census Bureau, roughly 75% of the toys sold in the U.S. come from China, which is currently dealing with a 30% tariff from the Trump administration. Earlier this year, the fee was as high as 145%. Economists say the tariffs on China are forcing many U.S. toy stores to raise their prices, and they expect this upward trend will continue.
Routine vaccines have prevented the deaths of about 154 million children worldwide over the past 50 years. However, there's been a backslide allowing some diseases to spread. So that is according to a report just published in the medical journal The Lancet. Now, the study reveals that slowing vaccination efforts and in some cases reverses the progress. So an internal vaccination advocacy group says more than 100 countries saw declines in essential childhood immunizations from 2010 to 2019. That set the table for outbreaks of polio, diphtheria, and yellow fever. Experts say the COVID-19 pandemic slowed vaccination efforts significantly as more people stayed home and avoided medical visits.
Back outside with live cam. Even though it's a little bit humid, it's beautiful, and hopefully we'll have a few more of those downpours today.
Well, you know, to be sitting at 85 at 12:30 in the afternoon, that's that really, honestly, for San Antonio is nothing to complain about. It is a little humid out there, but I want to show you temperatures across the rest of the country. It continues to be a real issue up and down the East Coast. 97 right now in Charlotte, North Carolina, 95 in the nation's capital, 93 in New York City, and 97 right now in Charleston. But watch what happens when you factor in the humidity. Right now it feels like 106 in Washington, 106 in Charlotte, and 102 in New York City. So another dangerously hot day here across not only the Northeast, but also the Southeast too. Atlanta has a heat index right now of 103. So quite honestly, we're doing all right. Our heat index here is 91. And it's been that way for the last few days where we've seen cooler weather out west and then the really hot stuff across the East Coast. And shout out to you, Courtney. 65 right now in LA, 54 in San Francisco. California's feeling real nice right now. That won't last, but yes, comfortable temperatures down the West Coast. Rain chances today, highest along the coast, but we'll see a 30% chance, 20 to 30% chance, I'd say, here within the city of San Antonio, and those numbers drop off as you get into the hill country. All right, coming up, we're going to take a really early look at the July 4th forecast for you here in just a couple minutes. Thanks.
100% is not a hate crime. It's been difficult for him. I mean, he trusts that the truth will prevail.
Well, he says his client is innocent, and for the first time we are hearing from the attorney representing the man accused of killing actor Jonathan Joss.
Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, who goes by Freddie, was not there for the interview, but his attorney, Nico LaHood, spoke to Erica Hernandez about life since his client's arrest and what he wants people to know about him.
He's not doing great. I mean, he's been accused of something that he's completely innocent on.
It's been 24 days since Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez has been accused of the murder of actor Jonathan Joss. On June 1st, Joss was picking up mail and checking on his property near Pleasanton Road when he was allegedly shot and killed by Alvarez. KSAT 12 later found out that an ongoing feud had been occurring between the neighbors, and officers had been called to the property more than 60 times in less than 2 years.
He has the support of his neighbors. He has support of other people that know the real truth about the circumstances and the behavior and the erratic and often dangerous behavior, unfortunately, of the deceased.
A lot of talk about the case since it happened has been about the possibility that it was a hate crime. Joss's husband went on social media to say that a man approached them yelling homophobic slurs. According to San Antonio Police Chief William McManus, the district attorney's office would determine if the hate crime designation would be used. But LaHood says, in his opinion, this isn't a case of a hate crime.
It's a struggle for him personally, is this accusation of a hate crime, and that is completely antithetical to his character, to his family. This has nothing to do with anything about sexual orientation or hate crime. This has to do with a very long time of torment in that neighborhood.
LaHood says right now Alvarez has the support of those neighbors and that evidence will show this is a case of self-defense.
This was leading up, unfortunately. And as you know, people in Texas have a right not to be a victim. You have a right to self-defense. You have a right to defense of third persons legally and under the law. And we believe that applies here.
For now, LaHood says Alvarez, who is yet to be indicted, awaits his day in court.
He's a man of faith. He loves his family. He's secure in the truth and what his intentions were and what he's been dealing with for a long time.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Well, a lot of flavor for not a lot of money. That's what's on the menu this noon as David Elder brings us another budget-friendly recipe.
And summertime means fun in the sun, but also festive fireworks. What to know if you're planning on attending this year's 4th of July celebrations.
Be able to celebrate America, and fireworks is one of those things that everybody loves.
Well, as you heard, America's birthday just around the corner now, and that means fireworks season is here.
Fireworks stands are opening their doors, and this year the celebration regulations are a little bit different. So setting off fireworks in the city limits is illegal, but because of the recent rain that left us soaked for days, the usual drought-related bans on certain fireworks have been lifted in most counties in our area.
Well, that means items like the beloved bottle rocket are back on the market.
I know a lot of people who will be excited about that. As the 4th of July festivities approach, though, the city is gearing up for the big Independence Day celebration.
And here's our Ivan Adetta with everything you need to know if you're planning to go to Woodlawn Lake Park.
Carnival rides, live music, wrestling, an onion eating contest, and fireworks. It's all happening at the HEB 4th of July celebration at Woodlawn Park, hosted by the San Antonio Parks Foundation. The full day of activity starts at 8 a.m. and runs through 9:30 p.m. The celebration kicks off with fitness sessions, then you can cool down watching wrestling demonstrations midday into the afternoon, a welcome salute at 7 p.m., and a big fireworks show starting at 9 p.m., which will also include a drone show. Now, if you're heading out to the HEB 4th of July celebration at Woodlawn Park, here's what you need to know. No overnight camping is allowed at the park. No alcohol is allowed. Follow detours and other road signs, and of course, keep the neighborhood clean by picking up your trash. Don't forget to bring your lawn chairs, sunscreen, umbrellas, hats, and of course, stay hydrated. There's lots more going on during the celebration. Head to KSAT.com for a full list. Ivan Herrera, KSAT 12 News.
Looking forward to that celebration. I do have some advice though for people who want to go and see the fireworks. Maybe enjoy the activities first and stay around for the fireworks, because we try to do that last minute. It's so hard to find parking.
Oh, yeah.
When it's close to fireworks time.
It's very crowded. I think they're going to have drones out there too, which is pretty cool. You just heard Ivan talk about sweet onions. So my question this morning, my Just Ask Justin question was, what is the state vegetable of Texas? Is it the heirloom tomato, the chili pepper, the sweet onion, or spinach?
Is this a trick question?
It is not.
Okay,
It is,
so it's not
it is the
season?
sweet onion.
Oh.
Yes, that's why they're having the sweet onion
I was
eating
going to say, I thought you were trying to trick us.
Mockingbird's a state bird. 42 is a state domino game, if you didn't know that. And the state snack is chips and salsa, my favorite.
Nice.
We're going to be talking about heat, not only with chips and salsa, but actual heat coming up.
We were just talking about your beach vacation, and the water is very warm. But is there a breeze down there, or is it really still sticky like it is here?
There's a breeze, but I ain't going to cool you down.
Okay. Thank you.
This is not California. No, it is hot. It is muggy. But you know, we still love our beaches. Port A and Rockport. It's still fun to go down there. And yes, the water's plenty warm. So we're starting to get into hurricane season. We saw Andrea form in the Atlantic yesterday. It's since gone away. So that's our first named storm. But I got to go down to the Pacific because we're still tracking this area where there's an 80% chance of development. It's a broad area, but the models continue to kind of latch on to the idea that there will be a tropical storm or hurricane. Flossie would be the name. And you know, the concern here was that we'd get a lot of heavy rain along the west coast. And the models have kind of flip-flopped on this, but they're still showing 10 to 20 inches in some spots, which this is an area that got hit hard by Eric. So there likely will be some flooding and mudslides on the west coast of Mexico. Here locally, man, what a great shot. Lisa sent this in of the rainbow over HEB. You know, that's San Antonio right there. It just is. That was out in Bernie, but we had those downpours yesterday, and there were some nice rainbows that came along with them. The visible satellite picture, I know it's kind of hard to see here because we just got so many clouds, but you see the scattering of these cumulus clouds that are starting to try to build up into something. And we talked about this yesterday, but anywhere one of these little storms forms, sometimes you get these outflow boundaries and they'll just kind of meander around, and they can often be the impetus for more development. And so that's what we'll be watching for into the afternoon. The authority radar right now shows that we do have a couple of thunderstorms down there in Karnes County, but nothing here around San Antonio right now. All is quiet for the time being. Futurecast, though, does show some of that activity working a little bit closer, perhaps by 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. You'll see some of those random downpours, very, very similar to yesterday. And it will probably take until about 7:30, 8 o'clock for these to die down, and then once the sun goes down, they lose their energy source, that sun, the sunshine. So rain chances will fall off after that. 30% chance at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. I'd say through about 7 o'clock. We'll keep a 30% chance, and then after that, it drops off. High temperatures today, 92, about where we've been last couple days, and then we fall down into the 80s tonight. Hey, it's the way too early 4th of July forecast. Here's what I'll tell you is that it's a little too far out to give you any sort of specifics about what you can expect for 4th of July. But we can look at the long-term forecast and give you some generalities here. And what it appears to do, at least the upper level forecast, is for high pressure to start to build in. And that means temperatures, in theory, would go up. It's possible we could be near 100 or at least in the upper 90s by July 4th. And it looks like we'd be looking at partly cloudy conditions and probably some lower rain chances. So that's the idea right now. I would say check back because things can change, and they do with it being this far out. But that's the way things are looking. And this is the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and they tend to agree that things will be hotter than average. Where you see this orange color, especially the darker orange, is where we have a higher probability of seeing above average temperatures. It would be out across the desert Southwest where they would have lower numbers. So if you're planning ahead, that's kind of the idea for next week. 93 coming up tomorrow. This weekend there will be some more rain chances. We get some deeper moisture coming in on Saturday, so that brings rain chances back up just slightly, guys.
We wish everybody luck in getting some of that. All right, David Elder back with another budget-friendly meal idea. He walks us through what it takes to whip it up.
Well, if you are trying to save a little cash and eat a little healthier, David Elder's got your back.
He's back in the kitchen whipping up a delicious chicken teriyaki rice bowl. And get this, it costs less than $20 to make.
And it's delicious. So from the sauce to all that sizzle this morning, David showed us how to stretch our grocery budget without skimping on flavor.
Did you know that you can make a chicken teriyaki rice bowl at home for a family of 4 for under $20? Well, you can. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. 2 pounds of raw, boneless, skinless chicken tenders, 1 16-ounce frozen bag of vegetables, 1 bushel of sweet onions, 32 ounces of long grain white rice, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, chili garlic sauce. Pantry staples for this recipe are butter, oil, and seasonings. Get 2 cups of rice, pour it into a bowl. Rinse your rice until it's not cloudy water anymore. Add the rice to a pot, then add 3 cups of water and let it come to a boil. Once your rice comes to a boil, put it on low heat, cover it, and let it cook for about 20 minutes. Season your chicken how you like it. I'm using onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Add oil to a hot pan and cook your chicken. Once you're finished cooking the chicken, remove it from the pan and add your vegetables. Add 1 tablespoon of butter to your veggies and 2 tablespoons of butter to your finished rice. Chop up all your chicken, throw it back in the pan. In a measuring glass, add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 cups of hot water, 1/3 cup soy sauce, 1 cup of teriyaki sauce. Add 2 heaping spoonfuls of chili garlic sauce. Add your sauce. Once it starts to boil, the sauce will thicken up. Chop up your green onions. Now it's time to serve it up. Layer each serving with rice on the bottom, a healthy portion of the chicken and vegetables. Add your chopped green onions, any extra sauces or seasonings that you enjoy. I'm gonna add more of this chili garlic sauce to each bowl, some sesame seeds. And the frozen vegetables still have all their nutrients in them. They're a great alternative for fresh vegetables. There we go. That's the bite. Woo! This is incredible. It's going to fill you up. It is a lot of food. Look at all this. Under $20. I love it. This is so much fun. This is really good though. I'm going to enjoy this.
Welcome to San Antonio Broadway Theater. We are so excited that we have this new space. It's been 3.5 years in the making, but we finally have a home here in Castle Hills, and that means that we can have a lot more classes. So we have 3 other camps coming up. As you see behind me, we have Moana Junior in rehearsal. We also have 3 one-week camps at the end of July and August, and we are so excited to announce that we are going to be having a full roster of classes starting end of August, and it will include dance, it'll include acting, and it'll include some voice. So this venue is really just for rehearsal saxophone classes. We're still going to be using our venues, the Topin Center Empire and the Carver, for our performances. We do have an incentive for the first 6 months of the Academy, which is starting this fall. We're having a unlimited special. So it's a set amount for the first 6 months.
All right, temperatures are in the mid-80s right now. We'll make our way up to 92 this afternoon. There is still a 30% chance of some sporadic downpours. Won't be for everybody, but if you're one of the lucky ones, expect a quarter to half an inch of rain. 20% chance coming up tomorrow. I think Friday's generally a dry day. We get another kind of slug of moisture coming in Saturday, so that ups our rain chances again. But it is looking more and more like the first week of July. It's going to be hot and dry.
Well, we will enjoy this overcast weather, at least if we don't get the rain.
Exactly.
True.
The clouds are not bad.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, Day.